because playing Varus into Rakan, Volibear, Nah is not fun. And you don't have a Fresh, you don't have a Tom Kench, you have a Leona. Teddy's going to say goodbye as he Zenith plays.
Probably going to be doing the same thing as well on the other side whenever he would like to.
He doesn't even need to teleport yet. Just the level advantage and just control he has at the moment is enough to zone away Kana, who will be getting a relevant Drake this game as well, which is very...
Now Cuz finds Pyosik inside his jungle. As Faker once again not going to find the bubble. Shockwave comes down this time as the Ignite is actually utilized very early. Meanwhile, a fight on the top side of the map as well. Onslaught of Shadows comes down. Kana from over the wall, and the execution is absolutely perfect to get the first blood for the Akali. So necessary, as well as now Kingen in some trouble. But he should be alright as Faker lands that bubble, actually flashes on top of him, picks up the barrier, as well as now Sulker's the one that has to run. The flash over, Faker finds the solo kill, but it's answered in the end as well.
It's action all over the map, bot lane. The barrier, unfortunately, doesn't really get as much value from the second flash, still in the middle of a minion wave.
Well, Cuz gonna save Faker here in the mid lane as well in this lane, as you can see.
Herald is a really big one. Both teams are collapsing.
Yep, in they go. There's Carrier flashing on forward. Onslaught of Shadows comes down and Sulker completely removed from the fight. Finds a couple with the Shockwave, but he is too far out of position. The rest of DRX say, well, I guess we'll take a consolation blue buff and hope things are going to be okay. Chains of Corruption land onto Becca. Quickness utilized. He will get himself out of the way. So, T1 winning out on this one.
And it's not end of the world. Again, the wombo combo is insane. It might find a kill here.
Yeah, we're looking for it. Pyosik's going to dive on top of Carrier right now, keeping himself alive for a while, but the exhaust is going to be put down. Solar Flare comes through as well. They trade 1 for 1, and now Teddy's looking for more. The teleport coming through to help out. And there's a horse down here at the same time. Piercing Arrow will connect. The Rampage just has a drive-by, and now Faker gets to come on through, throw down all those summoners with the W, and T1 will mop it up.
And DRX looks just
it's gross.
Disgusting. And this is the power spike that you're looking for. Getting a couple of kills this early is really nice, as Cuz says, that's fine, I'll tank the turret, no problem whatsoever. Bow, there's no amount of, doesn't actually matter.
Yeah.
Because there are Fremont coming, and you're fed, but you don't have Meganar, and there's a lot of damage available.
Yep, and now he's going to be put into the blender. Kana gets underneath the turret, and you don't even need perfect execution to lock that one down. Just too many strong members on T1's side. Sulker is going to come on forward. Watch out for the orb. Let's see whether the Shockwave is going to connect. Scanner's got a blast cone there and will utilize it in order to create enough space. Now Carrier, possibly out of position, but Pyosik is going to be distracted by a Rift Scuttler, and Faker is going to finish off the outer turret in the mid lane.
It's the best turret to go down for Zoe, because now all of a sudden the mid lane is dangerous territory.
Oh, speaking of which, Faker looking for it onto Sulker here. Prowler's Claw comes out as well. Shockwave does find 2 this time. Faker has to flash to get himself out. He waits, has the blast going. The dissonance isn't enough damage. But that is definitely a very...
the exception being Kana, who's had a bit more rough as the steal attempt comes through.
And Pyosik just has to leave. Cuz says thanks for the leash, and that's just the state of the jungle at this point in time. Unfortunate.
Start making plays like this. They don't have cryo, they don't have the vision, they don't have the setup.
Oh, can Keenan find it again? Kana is able to get that backflip to get him out of the way, and now it decides to go back in. There's a perfect execution. Locks it down. Turns it straight onto the face of King, and however, he's still going to fall down. Pyosik does have the ulti button, presses it, and says that is definitely the Noguri moment.
But
100% agree.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Bow, remember that cleanse from before? Now the flash is down. Solar Flare comes through. There's a lot of CC available here. Grand entrance, that's pretty cool, but I think Faker can actually survive this pretty comfortably, and now Becca has to escape. Sulker going to move on down. He's been putting out fires this entire game. Now they're just zoning DRX away from this situation. 4 versus 2. Pyosik is on the top side. The turret's ready to fall across the map here on T1's side. The map control coming out yet again. This has certainly been their strength throughout this series.
And coming into this game, we talked about T1
from the Paddle Star, but will remain alive, and T1 also going to get out of there. Okay, Pyosik now should be able to find Teddy. The flash comes through, but the stun is going to be there. Pyosik own wrecks the turret, and Bao will survive in the end. The last auto will be denied. And the more T1 split DRX up, the more difficult it's going to be for DRX. They don't have the health bars to challenge this. And is this... It's just Infernal Soul stolen away. The backs are even stopped. Ahsoka is in trouble. He does find a defensive shockwave. Flashes his way out and he survives. Somehow they trade supports. That's not the target that they were looking for, so definitely a sick play is now Canna. Off to the side, he's looking for Kenan, ults his way through and then gets back to the Shuriken. Not able to lock that one down. But T1 now have just so much more value in this composition. The Infernal Soul is so strong, but DRX demonstrating that they have still got fight left in him.
Oh, that's a big teleport, King, and if he can get his Narbar.
Yeah, it's in a pretty good position right now, but you can see Cuz just going to try and execute Bao. Bao is out of this fight, burning down with the red buff as Faker locks down Kingen as well. Cuz is fighting 1 versus 3, by the way, and this is why DRX needed to try and go for that reset. They had their back stopped, and Cuz says absolutely not, my friend. And now Pyoshik at the mercy of T1. The huge piercing arrow is going to connect and connect again as Beck is now in so much trouble. He has to get back to his fountain, and T1.
Again, it's a worst case scenario because it means that no matter what you do, unless you straight up win the fight right from the get-go, you can't match the damage, you can't match the elongated fights in a very different way than Ocean Soul does, but still just as debilitating. And Mouth, here goes the Baron, and sieging with this composition, and then an Infernal Soul is a night.
Yeah, Infernal Soul, pretty revolting. As we're going to have a look at live here, Carrier looking for Kingen, he'll find it. Oh my god, Teddy, that damage is ridiculous. And the Gnar is very, very dead, just not able to be pushed up.
At the mercy of T1, and unlike game number 1 where it felt like DRX always had the angle, but T1 just mechanically outmuscled them. And game number 2 where clearly DRX were the better team.
Inhibitor in that mid lane, True Shot Barrage just to try and help with these minions, but with the Baron buff it's so difficult. Chains of Corruption go to Narnia, but it's not even, I think, actually going to be relevant, to be perfectly honest. Cuz trying to find an opening, does have everything available, and he's just going to settle for locking up this inhibitor. Solar Flare comes out now as Becca. Now with the quickness, in goes Carrier, goes Golden as well. Look at the AoE, it's revolting! Bao will just get tidied up by this horse. The perfect execution to get right on top of all these carries. It's a very, very quick ace. You blink and you'll miss it, and T1 are in round 2 of the playoffs.
And it was a valiant effort from DRX. I still insist that they played better than any of us had expected. This team was slumping, they gave it their all, they showed what they were made of, but it's a deserved win for T1 that